Hi everyone, this is my first YouTube video, um, and what I wanted to actually share today is how I passed the PL-300 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst exam. Now that's a mouthful, I know, but it's comprehensible and I think well encompassing, hence why the title is given. I don't know. That's just my take on it. And now, there were two main things that actually helped me pass the exam, and I'm hoping that my feedback and my journey can help somebody else, whether they are starting out to be a Power BI developer or a data analyst, and now they're learning a new visual tool and they've decided to set with Power BI, or if you're a intermediate Power BI developer and you're really looking to specialize within Power BI as your go-to kind of tool to support companies and organizations in their data transformation journey. And I would say it's also applicable for advanced people that are consultants that have already established multiple projects, across different facets of the world. And yeah, they maybe want to just identify small areas that they might not have known about, or good practices that Microsoft actually recommend on their website. So I'd like to begin to share that what really helped me was taking a guided course on data camps specifically for the PL-300 exam. And the reason why that was really helpful is because data camps gave me the impression that they had thought about the foundational modules, the intermediate modules, as well as some advanced modules that would help and equip an analyst to be able to go into a organization and actually build dashboards from scratch, as well as pick things up if somebody has started them in an organization and they have to essentially improve an already established report and bring it up to a certified level for the company. So there's really a take for anyone and everyone that's within this field. Data camps really helped me because, as I mentioned, they cover pretty much every kind of module that one could need for the exam. And not only that, data camps has their own kind of platform that allows people who use the software to interact with Power BI and actually, understand use cases for this software. And I think that is a skill within itself, to be able to discern from a data set how it could actually be used within an organization. One thing it didn't do, which I am only critiquing because I didn't find it there, is to be able to work with a stakeholder and how you might approach working with a stakeholder when developing a project. I typically go with 4 steps. The first one is to understand the specifications that the stakeholder might have in order to build the report that's desired. So that's really important. The first step is establishing really what kind of data there is available for you to start building. Then the second, I would say, is to be able to identify the data sources that are actually going to enrich your visuals. Your data sets actually are critical in building a report that's going to last a very long time, that's actually going to provide value to the company for years to come, because it can be built in Power BI. Allows you to scale reports It allows you to use import query or direct query. And if you're not familiar with these terms, import query is simply importing all the data from a SQL database all into your Power BI report. You might think that that's a good thing, and I'm sure it is in many use cases. However, with every approach, there's always pros and cons. And the second that I just touched on was the import query, the direct query. I've already spoken about the import query. The second is the direct query. And the difference really is that a direct query can upload data into a Power BI dashboard that you're trying to build incrementally and based on timestamps. So effectively, it's not ingesting everything that you might find within a database. It will only ingest X amount of rows that you specify. I hope that's useful. So really, to drive the point home, data camps really helped me with building reports, interacting with the software itself, re-establishing practices that I might have left aside. Simple things, for example, in creating a folder for your DAX measures or writing out what your DAX variables actually mean. So that you could always look back and see what these DAX measures actually mean. And also, if your report was to be shared or the actual file was to be shared with your colleagues, they could open it up and they could actually see your connotations, and they could see what effectively these variables mean and how you define them. So it's a very useful tip that I was reminded about. And secondly, the way that I supplemented my learning was to carry out multiple free tests that are available on Microsoft's website. If you Google free PL-300 Microsoft exams online, Microsoft allows you to take mock exams for free, and it gives you a good flavor of what to expect in the actual exam itself. So I think that was very helpful. I must have done that exam maybe 35 times, and I'm somebody that has used Power BI for more than 3 years prior to actually taking the exam. So I'm sure that you yourself will be able to identify how much of the software you've used yourself and tailor it accordingly. Maybe do the exam 50, 60 times, up until the point where you're really comfortable and you're confident in your abilities to go ahead with it. The last thing I would like to share is that it's possible to actually find online various materials of exams that would replicate the PL-300 exam curriculum and layout and format. You might pay a fee for it, but you'll have access to a lot more questions, and you will be able to receive feedback immediately for your questions on whether you got them right or wrong. That way you have covered pretty much everything you need to know in order to pass the exam. Now, I hope that was helpful. I hope that you could take something from this and actually apply it to yourself, and it improves your chances of passing the exam and makes you prepared, makes you feel prepared for it. I have to say, as my final thoughts to conclude, that I did find the exam quite difficult, even though I had experience in the past. There were some very challenging questions that really make you think. The exam itself has different questions, different style of questions, and they can be from any corner of the Power BI software itself. So I would really recommend you familiarize yourself with all of the commands that you can carry out on Power BI, I would highly recommend you familiarize yourself with, the visual paints, the filters, your data sets, and all the different pages that you can flick through as well, and what they all mean. And lastly, good luck for anybody that is actually going to take this exam. Wish you all the best. Peace and love.